a perspective, a set of practices, and the goal of a better social life. The first facet of CMM, a perspective, meaning that what CMM offers us is a perspective. This perspective that CMM offers us is about how we orient ourselves towards communication, stories, and our social worlds, how we are approaching these things. The way that the perspective of CMM differs from other comm theories is that it emphasizes looking at communication rather than through it. So facet number 2, CMM as a set of practices. Now that we have our CMM glasses on and understand the perspective CMM takes, we can actually use the tools it has to offer. Even the name of CMM, Coordinated Management of Meaning, refers to the actions that we do in communication. We coordinate with others to manage the meaning we make. But that process isn't always easy, so we need the tools of CMM to do those actions of coordinating, managing, and making meaning better. The practices that CMM gives us include the models, the daisy model, loop, serpentine, hierarchy. A big part of the practice of CMM is beginning to view our interactions as part of a larger system, where we are serpentining through conversation, taking turns, and adding to the shared pool of meaning. Another piece of the practice of CMM that I find compelling is the idea that we are curious participants, that we actively shape our social worlds, because whether we think that we are passive and powerless or participating and powerful, that affects how we show up to our social worlds. We have to get into the practice of recognizing the ways that we are participating and contributing. Another practice of CMM is looking for patterns, seeing the turns in the conversation and the impact of multiple contexts to see what pattern is being formed. And since we are participants and not passive observers, we then get to decide what pattern we want to create and actually take the action to create it. The third facet is the goal of better social life. Once we understand ourselves as participants with the ability to choose our actions, we then use those actions with the goal of creating better social worlds for ourselves and those around us. For Barnett Pierce, this was a deeply moral issue. The question of what should I do was one that he claimed was always present in our interaction, whether we knew it or not. In our choices that we made at each turn, we might be making our decisions as a way to answer a different version of the same question, which is, what should I do in order to make things better? In CMM, this translates to how we engage in our lived stories to make things better. But also, how do we tell stories that make things better too? A perspective, a set of practices, and a goal of better social worlds. CMM takes a holistic approach to communication, providing us with language, action tools, and a goal. So let's really consider that. What does CMM do for us? How does CMM as a perspective show up in our lives? Where are the practices of CMM coming to play? How does the goal of better social worlds affect our choices?